I'm Kelly from Jones Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this pendant. So this is like another version of the Marliz pendant that I did this week. I decided to have a go at doing a slightly different bail and I really love how it turned out, so I thought I'd come and share it with you. So let's get to it. To make this pendant you'll need 0.8mm wire, which is 20 gauge. I've got 4 lengths at 8 inches, which is 20 centimetres, and 1 length at 6 inches, which is 15 centimetres. I've got 0.315mm weaving wire, which is 28 gauge. I've wound mine onto a bobbin. This is a Bobeeze bobbin by Beadsmith. I just use it for when you're working with the longer lengths, so you have that down by your side. It just saves the longer, finer wires flailing about. That's a 25mm bobbin unweighted. Somebody asked me the other day. So today I'm using a face-setted stone. You don't have to, you can use any stone you like. So this one's got quite a huge back part to it. So you can use a flat stone if you want to. So you'll need a round stone for this one. I mean, you can use whatever you like. I'm using a round one today, and mine is 15mm. And I've got a little stone, mine's 3mm. I recommend 5. You can use any size, really tiny stone that you like. What else have I got? So my tools, I've got my pliers, round nose pliers, cutters, and nylon pliers. If you don't have nylon pliers, don't worry. I just like to have these handy, so I mention it in the video in case you see me using them. All my tools are Tronex. So let's get started. As I said, I'm doing a different version to the last video that I did. I really want to finish it off differently, so I'm going to try and do this one a lot quicker than the original video that I posted a few days ago. So we're going to take cut your wires to the lengths that I have. Take one of your base wires, find the centre point and bend it. So that will teach me for talking and rushing. Right, so we're going to take it slower than I originally thought. We're going to take that wire at the centre point and we're going to wrap it around round nose pliers. We're not going to squash it flat at all, because we want to add a little stone at the bottom there. So wrap it around your pliers, give it a wiggle, so you end up with that kind of shape. And then holding the tip of that, we're going to take the wires out. So that's the kind of angle you're aiming for in comparison to the size of your stone. You can use different size stones for this too. You can really use most shape stones, like oval and round. I wouldn't go for a square, though you can. And there's similar sizes will work. Gracie's snoring. Take your other 8-inch wires and find the centre. And we're going to start weaving just to the left of your thumb. So take your weaving wire and we'll wrap 3 times around the bottom wire, and then we'll wrap around the bottom too. Come up between, we'll go over the top and around the top too, and that's our repeat. Around the bottom too, come up between, over the top. Please mention me when sharing your finished work online. Please don't show in progress or images of the back, as it gives all my little design secrets away. Thank you to everybody who does, and thank you in advance. So I've done about 10 repeats of that little weave, and I'll finish with 3 wraps around this wire. This bottom wire, push your weave together. Keep it nice and tidy. I like to flatten my weave. We're not going to cut any ends. And I forgot to mention that you'll need a couple of inches on this side, so I'll be sure to put that on the video. And that weave into a V. So we're going to grip the right side of the weave and we're going to bend it into a V. We need these 3 wraps to be at the front so we can attach this front wire to that weave. So bring your wires up to follow the other wires. And we'll attach onto that. Holding that wire on top, we're going to wrap 3 times around both wires. It's a bit fiddly to hold it in place there. And then finish with a few wraps around the second wire. I've lost it. There it is. Finish with a few wraps around that second wire. Make sure your V is in place, and we'll do the same to the other side. So turn it around and we'll go 3 wraps around the 2 wires, a couple of wraps around that second wire. So cut that weaving wire at both ends and press down your little cut ends. So make sure your V is central, and we're going to shape the wires around the stone. My stone has got quite a flat front, so I'm going to place it flat side down. If your stone is flat, then you can just work straight on a flat surface. I'm putting my point down because I want that to be to the front. And when I did this one yesterday, only the back wires went around, so we'll see. Holding it as centrally as you can. I'm going to take the wires around the stone. They may not all go, that's fine. And then you can correct it from this side, you know your rough shape. I'm working with sterling silver today. I always buy dead soft. People ask me what types of wire I use. I always use dead soft. I find that even some of the soft wires are a bit hard to work with. When it's sterling, it's best to buy the annealed if you can get soft annealed. So you need to just keep going until you've got the right shape. It needs to be a nice snug fit in there. When you're happy with the shape, we'll take the top wires out, holding it the best you can. Just gently bend those wires out and keep checking the shape. I always tend to bend the right wires out more. I don't know why I do that. So try and match it up the best you can. So when you're happy with that, we'll add some more weaves to the top there. So working on these side wires, take your weaving wire and we'll wrap 3 times around the bottom wire. You can probably hear Gracie snoring in the background. And we'll do the same weave as the bottom, but now we're doing it over the 4 wires. No, ignore that. So we're going to go around the bottom 2, come up between the bottom 2, around the middle 2, come up between the middle 2, over the top, so we're going around the top 2, come up between the bottom 2 wires, we'll wrap around the middle 2, under the bottom and around the bottom 2 wires, bring your wire up between those 2, and that's our repeat. We'll do a couple more of those, and then we'll do that same weave on the other side. We probably only need 2 repeats of that actually, I think that's plenty. So just do 2 repeats and finish with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. So I'm going to cut the wire off at both sides so I can use this to do the other weave, and then when you finish on the other side, don't cut the wire, and we'll attach the top. Always remember to flatten down your little cut ends. So I've added that weave to that side too. So on this side, when you do the weave, you're doing 3 wraps around the bottom wire and then the weave. And then when you turn it over, you're doing it upside down so it matches the other side. So you do 3 wraps around the top wire. And I've added a few more wraps at the end just to get the wire to the top there so that I can tie it all together. Do you know what I mean? So the weaves sit next to each other. So I'm going to cut this weaving wire from the beginning, but I'm going to keep the other one, I'm going to tie it together at the top. So according to following the last video, it's been pretty much the same so far. We're going to attach the stone pretty much the same way as we did with the first version, but the bail section's going to be slightly different. I've got a new idea. Position your stone briefly and give it a little squeeze just to make sure it all fits. Make sure that point is central and it's all nice and snug around the stone and we haven't misshaped it too much. Then take your stone out and we'll attach the top. Again, I don't want to include the front 2 wires, so we'll pull those forward and holding the rest of them together, we're going to go around the whole thing. Go around several times. And then finish with one of these back wires. Wrap around one of those back wires a couple of times just to hold it in place. So next we'll fit the stone. So reposition your stone and turn to the back. With a facetted, it tends to keep turning, so you've got to try and hold it flat. So we're going to take the back wire, pull it back a little bit. I'm going to do both of them now, and then I'm going to try and get my stone back straight again because it keeps turning. I think I'm going to have to do the front wires first. I would normally recommend you do the back wires first so you get a bit of a practice run. But I'm going to have to do the front wires because mine's are facetted. So what we do, if you can start on the back, start on the back. We'll grip the wire towards the bottom there by the weave. And then holding the top of the wire against the stone, holding the stone in, we're going to turn the wire. And then we're going to grab the other side and we're going to do the same. wiggle your pliers in between the wires. Try and grip it in the same place as you did, so you're matching up to the other side. Grip that wire, hold in the top, turn it in. As I turned that, my little V moved. I saw it. So then we've got to hold in the bottom. We've got to pull the top of the wires into. Hold in the bottom, grip the wire at the top next to the weave and twist it in. Now our wires aren't joined at the top, so you're going to have that. I'm going to do the same to this side. Grip the top and twist it in, and then take your wire back out, back in. So our main focus is these shapes here now around the stone. We want them to be a nice gentle scoop so they cup the edge of the stone rather than cover it up too much. So shape your wires, adjust your wires if you need to, check on that V at the bottom, and we need those wires to come in at the top. So at the top of the weave, bend your wires back in. We'll deal with those in a moment. We just need them to scoop out at the top to start with. So now we'll do that to the back too. It won't be such a nightmare with the back because the wires are all trapped at the top there. So make sure your back wires are back. We've got a nice gap. And at the bottom of the stone there, I'm going to pull the wire out. And then at the top of the stone there, hold in the bottom, I'm going to pull the wire in. So I pulled it in on both sides. So it cups the stone. So if your stone is a flat back, you just bend this straight over the flat back of the stone. You don't have to bend the top in if you don't want to. I'll do the same to this side. Grip it at the bottom of the stone. Bend it in. And then at the top of the stone, my weave is in the way. Bend it in. Push that wire out a bit into a nice scoop shape. And we've got the back captured there. Again, if your stone is flat, you just pull in the wire straight over that flat back. Give your wires a little squeeze above and below the stone so it really holds that in nicely. So make sure when you've finished your wraps there at the back that you wrapped around one of the back wires a few times, and we're going to cut that wire off. Press down that little cut end, and we're going to weave across these front two wires that hopefully you've shaped back up to be the same as mine now. So wrap a few times around this wire and slide it down. Take the wire over the other side. Now you need to hold it down because it's going to keep trying to move. And we're going to go over that opposite wire, so we're just working across those two front wires only. And we go twice around that wire. And then holding that wire down, we come across to this side, and we go around this wire, pushing it down, wrap around a few times, holding this side down, we come over this side, This weave, just because we're at a funny angle with the wires, it just keeps trying to slide up. So we're just holding it down as we go. So as you do one side, hold the other side down. And then as you do this side, hold that side down. And just keep holding down the opposite sides and pushing this side down as you weave until you reach to the middle, and we'll do a slightly different weave when we get there. So we're going to continue to weave just along those two wires. So I'm going to take these other back wires and just pull them out the way for now. So working on just these two, we're going to just do a figure of 8. Go around the one, come around the other, go around that one, come around this one. So we're just going around one and then around the other. A simple figure of 8 weave just for a little bit. So when you get to here, I've only done a little bit of that weave. I'm just a little bit past where the join is there. When you get to here, we're going to include 2 wires into our weave briefly, just for like a couple of repeats, just to attach them. So I'm going to go around 2 wires twice, come up between and go back over to the other side, and I'm going to go around 2 wires twice, come up between them and come back over to this side, and then I'm going to go back to my figure of 8. Now looking at your 2 middle wires, I don't want them spread too much really. The other wires we've left behind there, that's it. So we're going to do a little bit of a weave bail, a bail weave across these 2 middle wires. So we're going to go as if we were doing the figure of 8, but we're going to wrap a couple of times instead of once, over the other side, just weaving across the middle 2 wires, wrap a couple of times. So now we're doing a figure 8 with a wrap. So we've got 2 wraps. And I've reshaped those wires so they're slightly coming out a little bit. So stop when you reach here. So I've done about 1 centimetre after the join. So altogether we've got 2.5 centimetres, so that's about 1 inch. Is that right? 2.5 is about 1 inch. I'm awful with inches. Keep pressing it down, and we're going to do a very slim bail on the top there. So holding that top piece together, holding the top of the weave so you're not going to spoil the weave, we're going to take these wires in, but we want to scoop them to be the shape of the bottom of the bail, really. Do you know what I mean? And then at the top there, we want to bend them out a bit. And then we're going to carry on weaving up the rest of this bale. So again, like at the bottom, it's going to keep trying to slide up as you go. So hold it down on the one side while you work the other. Keep insisting on that wire pushing down because it's going to keep sliding. And then hold that side down while you come up and work this side. And just keep pulling the wire down on both sides as you go. And then hold this side down. And then do this side and keep going until you reach the top. Woven up to the top there. Don't worry if you get gaps in this last part of this weave because we're going to bend it over to the back, so it won't be that noticeable. So if you've got a few gaps, you're more right. So where the widest part is, that's where we're going to bend it over. So if you've got bale pliers, you could use those if you want to. I forgot to mention them, so I'm going to just bend it over with my fingers. At the bottom of the weave, we need to bend it out and then bring that bale down. So I wanted like a nice long elegant bale on this one. We're going to cut this wire off from the beginning. Just realised how quiet I'm talking, sorry about that. So these inner wires that we joined here, take those wires next. And I'm going to scoop them around, but I want them to go around lower than the top of the bale. Bring them around so that the cord goes above, like that. Do the same with the other one. Take it around, try and match up the height to that one that we just did. So take it slow, try and get the height the same. And we're just going to, at the back there, bring those wires together. And I'm going to weave across all four just to hold them in and then wrap around the whole thing so we're tying the bale down. So I'm just going to go around like we did on the other side. I'll go around two, come up between, go around the middle two, come up between, go around the top two, come up between the bottom two, and then go around the middle two and around the bottom two, and I'll do that again just to trap them in place. So I've done 2 repeats. I've wrapped a few times around that second wire just to trap it in place, and then I'm going to go around only the middle 2 wires. And I'm going to tie it down, and I don't want to go across the front. So like I did with the other Marliz pendant, I'm going to cut this wire. I left about 6 inches. I'm going to make a gap there between the bale and the front, and I'm going to wrap around the whole of this section. So I'm tying the bale down, but I'm not taking the wires across the front of the weave there. So I've gone around 3 times, just the middle 2 wires at the back, and I've gone around that middle section, avoiding the front. So I've gone around 3 times, and then I'm going to finish with 3 wraps around one of those middle 2 wires. Keep pushing it all together, keep pushing everything together as you go, keep it all nice and tidy. Cut that wire and press down the end. And check that these 2 are the same height. Now we've all secured and our bale's down, we just need to finish off these wires. So I'm going to take this first one on the left. I'm going to bring it forward. I'm going to scoop him around. And over to the left. I'm going to take the next wire on the left. I'm going to bring it down. So I'm doing a lower scoop, but I'm bringing it out in the same place. Then at the top, I'm going to hold those wires. Take them across the back there. And then I'll move to these two right wires, and I'm going to bend the first one right the way down at the base. And I'm going to scoop it over the front and go over and down like that. And then this one comes down again as well. I'm going to bring that one over so it's a bit higher. So there's a gap between the two wires there, but it scoops out to come out in the same place. When you're happy with the wire shape, hold that in place. We're going to have to pull these back a bit just while we attach these wires. So hold in the front, take those wires across the back, and I'm going to finish them around the middle there. This is where the tiny tips of those Tronex come in handy. I really should get sponsorship, shouldn't I? I'm going to have a word with Mr. Tronex. And then we need to finish the top wires around the bail. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull these wires out just a little. And then these need to go around the bail to finish off that top shape. Can I bend it down and then bend it back in a bit? I'll try not to bend it too much. So noisy here today. I don't know if you can hear, we've got a car alarm going off now. There's just so much noise. Hopefully you'll just drown out by Gracie's snoring. So you're going to bend that around the bail to hold it in place. I'm going to take this outer wire on this side. I'm going to bring it around. Now you've got to watch this wire here. Doesn't move because we might lose the height because we're messing with that wire. Bring it around. Keep checking that it hasn't moved. I'm going to bring it quite low so we got a lot of shape there. I'm going to push it between the wires and I'm going to scoop it out to follow those wires. I'm going to take it up to the top. And I'm going to take that wire very close to the top and finish it off again through the top of the bail there. So holding that in place, I'm going to take the end through the top. Feel free to stop at any time. I'm just playing with all the extra bits of wire. If you want to stop and cut these wires off and do little curls, do that. I'm just going to bend this wire around. So I've just pressed that wire around the top there. Then where it came through, I've cut off the excess there. And I need to lose this one wire, and then I'm just going to cut those other two short. So I'm going to post this one through. So again, you need to make sure, post it through to the front, you need to make sure that you're not misshaping that wire height. Where's it gone? There. Make sure you're not spoiling the height of those wires. They need to remain the same. And that wire is going to come through the middle and go around to the side. I'm going to leave a bit of a gap so it looks like it's got a bit of weight to it and it scoops around. I also think I'm going to push that wire out to the side a little. I need to do that when I tighten it up. So I'm just going to take this wire around the back like I did with those other two. Oh, she is snoring, isn't she, today? I did take her for a walk though before I sat down with the video. I thought she'll be quieter. Yeah. So I'm just going to wrap that wire around and press it in. I think that's all I can do. I think we just need to lose these last two now. And I'm just going to cut them and curl them down low. Collect up all these bits of silver in a minute. I'll bag them all and take them back to the shop. So two little curls on the ends of those wires. Pull them in so they're quite close next to each other. And then I'm going to just bend them over the side. It'll help hold that wire flat. And I'm going to tuck this one behind that wire there. So it's just tucked out the way. Tuck it in. So just take a minute just to look over it and make sure you're happy with the wire shapes. So now we just need to make the little stone for the dangle. And I did do this in the Marliz video, and I've done it in lots and lots of videos. So I'm going to do a slightly shorter version of it today. So position the wire centrally on your finger. And then position the stone flat side down on your finger next to the wire. Pull the wire around the stone tightly on both sides. Then take the upper wire around the stone. So this is my pointy back. So I'm going around the pointy back of the stone. We go around completely once. Turn it over, and then we take this upper wire around the upper edge of the stone and go around completely once, all the way around, holding the stone down as you go. So you're just bringing it over that top ledge of the stone. So I've got one wrap around the front, one wrap around the middle, and then one wrap around the back. You don't want more than 3. I think any more than 3 and it starts getting a bit thick and it'll stick out. So when you've done that, my wires have ended both up at the top here. We take the back wire around the front wire. If you've got a slightly bigger stone, it's so much easier to do. Cut off that wire, squeeze it around. Whoops. Come on. And then look at the angle that you want to attach it. So mine needs to go like this. If you want to attach a jump ring, then you can, and you just need to straighten your wire and do a loop. But I'm going to do one sort of sideways. So my wire's coming out to the side. I grip it with my round nose and I bring it over the round nose. And I cut that wire. And I close the loop. Little citrine in there. And then I take my other pliers. We open this back up. Pop that on the bottom there. I don't know if I want to oxidise this one. It looks so nice and shiny silver. So there we have it, finished. I think I'm going to keep this one shiny this time. I'm not going to oxidise it. So I hope you managed to follow this video okay. I had a different idea for the bail, so I just had to share. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.